Hey guys, it is Carl Brown for GuitarLessons365.com. Got a solo guitar arrangement of Louis Armstrong's What a Wonderful World. So this is this is based off of his version of it, which is obviously the most popular version. So a lot of the harmonies from the recording, there's rich kind of sometimes jazzy harmonies. I grabbed some of those and put them on the guitar, and but for the most part, I'm trying to keep it pretty simple. There's a lot of just simple major and minor chord forms here. There's a couple little jazzy parts, but for the most part, it's not that hard to play. So I wanted to make it reasonably playable, but also, you know, has some of that vibe that the original recording had. So we're gonna take a look at this thing today. I hope you guys are gonna enjoy it. Now, before I get into it, please subscribe to the channel, ring the notification bell. If you like this kind of content that I put out for all these thousands of songs that I put up on YouTube, the best way to support it is to join my Guitar Academy, and you're going to see a link to that in the description. That link's going to give you 40% off my annual subscription rate, which is you're only going to see that on YouTube here. So if you just go directly to my website, you're not going to see that price, but you can get it by clicking that link in the description. If you've never had an account, you also get a free 7-day trial, so you get to check it all out and make sure it's right for you. You get full access to all of my courses. I do a live stream every weekend with Academy members. It's a lot of fun, and you get personalized support from me as well. So please go check it out. All right, so let's jump into this track. Well, we are in standard tuning, so nothing big there. And everything starts out with this kind of like. All right, so we're gonna start here with this. Just the song's in F, so we're gonna start here on this. Third fret here on the A string, third fret on the D, second fret on the G, and first fret on the B. So just pick across those. So you start from the A string all the way to the B, and then you come back down. Come all the way back down to the D string. And then you go up to this G minor. They do a slightly different picking here. So you're going to start at the same. So you're holding now the 5th fret of the A and the D, then borrowing the 3rd fret across the G and the B. So we have that. So once again, you pick across from the A string all the way to the B, then back to the G, and then skip over just a little. They don't hit the D string there. It takes it straight down to the A string, the 5th fret, to move back down to the F. So we have this. Kind of accentuating that bass line. So. Then you go back and pick across the F, just like we did before. And then back up to the G. And here you kind of just make it up, picking across this G minor till you get to the B string, and then we're going to go up here and start the melody. So with this. So I'm starting this up here. I'm doing it up here because I mean it's just kind of, the B string's a little bit warmer of a string than doing everything on like the high E, which we allow us to do it down here. So I just kind of like moving it up. So we started the melody on the lower strings and just kind of take it up to the B string. So we have this. I'm gonna start with this. I'll turn that delay off here. So we had the 10th fret on the D, 9 on the G. And then we're going to go into this. Obviously, this top note's the melody, so that's the 10th fret there on the G string, 7th on the D, and then the 8th on the A string. You pick that, and then I pick that top note again. So it's when you're doing these kind of like solo guitar arrangements, it's hard to get the harmony in there and then get all the exact little vocal inflections. So it's kind of like you're trying to carry the melody and try to do the phrasing, the vocals good as well as possible, but it's not going to match his exactly. It's kind of impossible to match a human voice like that, especially when you're adding all this chord work and you're doing it on guitar. It's not possible, but we can get close. So we pick that chord once, and then pick that top note again, and then you're going to jump up here, and this is going to be that 13th fret there on the B string. Now, what you're doing after that is you're just going to go ahead and grab, so it's just an A minor chord up here. So this is the but you don't need to do any bar or anything like that. You just play the 12th fret on the A, 14th on the D and the G, and you're still holding that melody note on top. So this, that's where. So once you grab this, so I'm keeping the kind of movement that you can hear like in the orchestra and all that stuff. So it's important to kind of have that melody note come out. So this is a good thing. So you hear that melody note, kind of bring it out a little bit louder, and then the accompanying notes. Now I have a compressor on here, which is not helping me do that. So, but we're basically trying to keep this accompaniment a lot quieter than the melody note. So then if you're holding that, then I'm going to pick the A string, D, back to the A string, and then G, D, A. So we have this. And then we're going to come up here to a B flat major chord. So you're going to hold the 13th fret there on the A. And like I said, there's just simple major and minor chords, just a little bit further up the neck. And then we have this, the 15th fret across the D, G, and the B. So what I'm doing there, so I just pick that 13th fret on the A string first, and then I strum across just those 3 strings, the D, G, and the B. You want it to stop there because you want that to be the melody note. So then I go back and pick the G, then back to the B string. Pick that a couple times. Just trying to match the vocal phrasing. And then back down to that A minor. Now here, I'm kind of, I don't always want to, I could just strum it. But I mean, the strums are kind of like a big, I don't know, they're kind of more, they just make everything sound a little bit bigger. So if you do it on every single chord, it starts kind of wearing on the ear. So I'm kind of mixing it up. The important parts of the melody, of the harmony, I'll kind of strum across the chord, which makes it sound more grand or whatever. But some of the times I don't. But if I want to hear the bass note and the melody note come in at the same time, which is this next chord, going back to this A minor, I'll hybrid pick it. So that's what I'm doing. So I'm just picking the 12th fret there on the A and the 13th there on the B string. So this back to that A minor chord. But the first time you hear it, I'm not gonna, like I said, if you want to strum across it, it's fine. But you can pick the A string and then with your middle finger pick the B string. And then what I'm doing is I just pick the A string again, then G, D, A. So this. Why I want to end on this A string? Because it has a really cool little movement down to the next chord, and you can just do that. So that's going to be the 10th fret there on the A. We're basically down to a G minor chord here. So you can just shift this chord down 2 frets. So it's like it's trying to keep it pretty easy. But what I do is I pick this A, pick the A string and then the B string. And then I try to pick both of these together. And then that top melody note twice. And then we're going to go down to a F major chord. So that's where I'm going to do another strum. That's kind of a big hit. So that's the 8th fret there on the A string. And then you're barring across the 10th fret across the D, G, and the B. Remember that melody note's on the B string. So we have this. So after I get to this F chord, strum across those 4 middle strings, then I'm going to pick the A just as accompaniment. I'm just going to pick the A string and then the G, D, A again. So here, I do hybrid pick that one right there. So I just start with this. So that's the open A string, 6th fret there on the G. This is an A dominant 7 chord. So we have this. You really just need those. So that's just the open A string, and then the 6th fret there on the G, 8th fret there on the B. Back to that G string, and then that melody note twice. And then I come back and I just hybrid pick this again. So it's just like we did this A minor the second time here, we're here. So I just pick I'm holding this D minor here, so it's the same chord shape here. We did here and here, but at the 5th fret. And you're gonna pick, hybrid pick the A and the B string together. And then you don't get very long to kind of do accompaniment here. It goes. So now the strings that I pick in the accompaniment, I kind of, as I played through it a little bit, I started doing it more consistently, but it's not that important. It's really that melody note's important, and you can just kind of pick around the lower strings to kind of keep the movement going. But we basically have this, after this, I just pick the A string and the G string, and then the melody note a couple more times, and then we're gonna go down to this. So that's a kind of a more climatic hit. So full major chord here, strum across for the 4th fret on the A, and then across the 6th fret across the D, G, and the B. So we have this. So what I'm doing there is I'm just gonna strum across, then come back and hit the root note there on the A string, hit the top note, and then the D string, top note, then the root note, and then the top note again. So then that same little ending to the accompaniment part, A, G, D, A. So with this. All right, then we have this. Sorry, we have this. All right, so after you get this first part, there's a lot of repetition with slight variations, and then this one little bridge section. So we're going through this kind of slowly, trying to get it note for note, but then as we do the repeats, it's gonna be a lot quicker. So, so this little ending, we're based around a G minor 7 chord. So I start here with a full bar at the 3rd fret, and then I'm gonna play the 5th fret there on the A in front of it there. So I'm just gonna pick across from the low E string across to the G string first. And then I start the melody. So that first part of the melody is gonna be 6, 3 on the B string. Now how he phrases that da-da-dun-dun or da-dun-dun, he kind of changes the phrasing as you go, so you can kind of play it as you want. Play 6, 3 there on the B, and then we're gonna go to a C7 chord. So this is just a bar at the 3rd fret still, but you're picking the A string, 5th fret on the D, 3rd fret that you got in the bar on the G, and then the 5th fret there on the B string. So it is. When you get here, go up to 6 on the B string, then the 8th fret all by itself, kind of milk it, and then up to that F major chord again. Have we done it before yet? All right, anyway, F major chord, 8th fret there on the A string, barring across the 10th fret there on the D, G, and the B. Then I kind of pick back across it. From the B to the D. Then I just kind of added this little transition to it. To get us back to the melody. So there's that chord movement going on, so we're just gonna kind of do this. So from here, after this, so this is where I make it a little jazzy here. You'll have these little sections that I'll throw in here. Usually when there's like a little variation thrown in, it's kind of a jazzy thing. So anyway, it's the 7th fret there on the low E string, 7 on the D, 7 on the G, and 6 on the B. This kind of style of music, that when this was recorded, is like you need to throw that little jazz and inflection. And plus, it makes people sound like you're smarter than you really are. But you're just gonna play this 7th fret on the low E, then then D and G. It's 8 notes, sorry. And then the 6th fret there on the B. It's a little awkward if you've never played it. And then I picked the low E, D, G, B, G, back to the D, and then this is basically just a B flat major chord here. So you don't need all those notes though. So it's just the 6th fret on the low, bar at the 6th fret. And then you have the 8th fret there on the D and the G. So I picked the low E string, 7th fret there on the G, sorry. So I picked the low E, then the D, that 7th fret on the G, and that 6th fret on the B, which is being held by the bar. So you pick low E, D, G, B, back down to the D. And then we're gonna go up to a C7. So this is just, you can kind of hold a C7 chord. It's just a little bar across the 8th fret on these bottom 3 strings really. And then the 10th fret there on the A string, and then 9th fret there on the G. So once I get from the A across to the D, then I start the melody over. So we had all that, so far we got this. Then here we start the melody, so it's the same melody as before. So it's just gonna repeat. Now here we have a slightly different transition to the bridge. So the end here is going to be a little bit different. So it's like looks like this. And then this. Kind of sets us up for the bridge section there, which I take down an octave. So anyway, so that's based around. It's the same kind of G minor transition ending we did before. But instead of going up to the note here on the B string, so we did that move before. When we took this, we went up there. We're gonna do kind of the same thing. And I'm gonna go up to the 6 on the B, but I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna play this note as part of the bar here on the high E string. Why? Because I want to then come back down to this note as part of this chord. So like this. So just strum across. So this is that F chord we did before. You're barring the high E and the B, the 1st fret, 2nd fret on the G, 3rd fret on the D, and the A. So strum across that and then start the picking pattern. And then you're gonna come up here, so it's just kind of, when you get up to the G, here they have actually a different pattern they do it to the arpeggio. Because, so that right there, so you're holding that same G minor we did before, but you're gonna pick A string, G string, D string, then B, G, D. And then repeat that again. You stay on the G minor. So instead of going F, G minor, like we did in the beginning of the song, it goes F, G minor, F. So we have that. So coming from here, then repeat, and then back down. When you get to the F, you're gonna kind of just pick across from the A string to the B, and then you're gonna jump into the bridge. So this bridge, I kind of simplified, just kind of took it down you know, usually when you're doing like a solo guitar arrangement, you're taking the whatever vocal melody and you're moving it up an octave so the note can pull. But I've kind of taken it down here just to kind of mix things up a little bit. Looks like this. All right, so that's kind of the first half at least. So we're gonna start here. So 2, 3 on the D string, and then I'm just gonna play the 5th fret on the D and the A together. So I pick those, and then kind of just pick that top note a few times, kind of just to match the vocal phrasing. Then you're gonna come down here and grab this 3rd fret there on the A string and grab just kind of the C major triad around it, which is gonna be the 3rd fret on the low E and the 2nd fret there on the D. So we have this. And then after letting that ring, I'm gonna just quietly pick that 3rd fret there on the low E and that 2nd fret there on the D. And then we're gonna pick the melody here. So that's just gonna be, you're already holding that 2nd fret there on D, that'd be the first note. So you pick that a little bit louder, and then you're gonna jump up here and grab the 8th fret on the A and the D. So this note, the top note's the melody note. So we're just gonna keep this F in the bass. You just kind of hit it when you first hit the chord, and then just hold it. And then play that melody on the D string, 8, 7, then 7, 5, 7. So we have this. And then we're gonna kind of repeat again. The only difference here is the melody note, instead of going from this E jumping to this chord, it's that C note here at the 5th fret, so it is. Then it's from this, I'm gonna pick this note as the first note, the melody coming up. So it's that 3rd fret there on the A. And this is the same thing up top. So all together. All right, and then we have this. All right, so that's kind of like the second half of the bridge there. So we're back, so we're bringing the vocal melody back up. So this is based around a D minor chord. So we're gonna play first the melody there, 10, 13 on the B string, and then you're gonna strum this is gonna full bar at the 10th fret and the 12th fret there on the A and the D. So I'm doing it like that because my pinky just played this note. I need to have a chord right after it. Then I just pick a couple of notes, D and the G string or something like. And then you're gonna pick the melody, high E 10th fret, and then the 10th fret there on the B string to it. And then to this A minor 7 chord with this top note's the melody. So that's just gonna be a bar at the 12th fret across the from the A to the G at least. And then in front of that you'll have the 13th fret there on the B and the 14th fret there on the D. So it is. And then back to the melody. So there, that was the same move to that D minor. And then you had the top note couple of times, and then just do a simple C major chord. So that's a full bar at the 8th, 9th on the G, 10th on the D, and the A. And I'm just kind of just filling up the sound a little bit between the chords, just strumming across it the way this. Then back to the D minor chord. You can play it like this now. So you kind of strum it, and then this melody goes high E to B. So it. So I just strum this chord after that from there. So that's the 7th fret there on the D, 8th on the G, 7th on the B, 8th on the high E string. And then I just kind of quietly strum from a pick across from the B to the D, and then we're gonna end it, the bridge. So that's up here, the G minor chord to start with. So what you're gonna wanna do is bar the 10th fret from the A across. In front of that, hold the 11 on the B and the 12 on the G and 12 on the D. So strum across these first, just those 4 middle strings. And then pick the G and the D just kind of as accompaniment. And then pick up that note on the B string, so it's the 10th fret melody that you're holding in the bar. And then back down, picking the G and the D as accompaniment. And then to a C7 here. So this is a full bar at the 8th fret. And you're only picking from the low E across to the B string though. So in front of this bar, you have the 10th fret on the A and then 9th fret there on the G. All right, so all together for that second half of that bridge. All right, and then we're back to the melody that we did at the beginning. So. So we had this. So that was like the first time we did that G minor and that little melody. We went up here to an F major and did this little transition here. So this is the ending of the song here. So we're going to do another variation of that. So we're going to start it the same way. Just like that. So we didn't up to this F major. So we've done this that move before. And then we're going to make the harmony a lot more jazzy here, kind of because it's the ending of the song. This is what they do to follow in the harmony that they did. From here, it looks like this. So it basically starts with that F major chord. And then it goes to this. You're going to have, it's kind of a little bit squished. So it's basically, you're barring the 9th fret across the A to the high E if you can, and then in front of it, the 11th fret on the G and the 11th fret on the E. So, I'm sorry, so you only have to really bar, I'm sorry, it's the 11th fret on the D string, not the low. So it's the 11th fret on the low E and the D there. So just to recap the notes, I'm barring the 10th fret there, and then in front of the 11th fret on the low E and the D, and going across, trying to treat this note as the highest note. And then we're going to come down to this. So that's going to be You really only have to bar from the ninth fret on the A to the G there, so kind of smush across there, and then the notes on top are going to be the one in front of it will be the 10th fret on the low E, 10th on the D, and then the 10th fret on the B. This is when they sound yeah. He's doing at the end. It's this A note, and they're kind of harmonizing underneath it. And then from there, we're going to go up to this D7 chord. So we played this as a C7 earlier. So it's just barring the 10th fret from the high E across to the B, and in front of it the 12th fret on the A and the 11th fret there on the G. Just strum across to that B string. So. And then we have this ending here. All right, so that's gonna start here. I'm just gonna. So you can start by holding this chord, which is you'll be barring at the 8th fret here. And in front of that, you'll play the 10th fret there on the A, 10th fret on the G. So you start there. So you gotta start with that chord. Now, what you're gonna do, after you have that in your hands, you're gonna pick the G string, which is at the 10th, you're holding the 10th fret, then the 8th fret there on the B, which you're doing with the bar. Now, add the 10th fret there on the B string and strum the whole chord. Right. So with this. Then back down to that 10th fret on the G string. Then lift up that pinky to pick the 8th fret there on the B string, and then back to the G string at the 10th fret. So with this. And then, so you're hearing them do this harmony here. So this is the 8th fret on the low E, 7th fret on the A, 8th fret on the D, and then the 6th fret there on the G string. And then, so it's just kind of a melody. I just move over here, the index finger, pick that 6th fret a couple times on the B string, and then go down to 5, 6. I slide up to the B, on the B string to the 8th fret, and then pick it and slide back down to 6. Now, I wanted to use my middle finger there because then I want to grab the F major chord underneath it. So after, once you get back down here, you're then going to go over and grab with your pinky the 8th fret on the A, 7th on the D string, and then the 5th on the G. And then try to let that note ring. So that little arpeggio I'm doing is just A, D, A, G, D, A. So it is. And then I kind of start it again. And I kind of stop before the last note and come and hit this 6th fret there on the B string, which I'm already holding. You can kind of hit it. You can kind of milk it a little bit. They actually hold it longer. And then he goes, oh, yeah. So we're just going to do that little part, but I kind of condensed it there at the end. But you can kind of sit on that F for a while, and then you're just going to want to pick that 6th fret on the B string by itself, and then play it this version of the F, which has that as the top melody note, which is at the F at the 8th fret there, 8th fret on the A, and you're barring across the 10th fret G, D, G, and the B at the 10th fret. And And that is it. It's a beautiful song. It's just obviously a classic, and it works out. It's kind of cool to sometimes do some things that you can play at a party or whatever. Everybody knows this song, and you don't have to sing it. You don't have to try to emulate his vocals or anything, which would be impossible. And have a nice arrangement that fits all on one guitar. And you can use your pick. It's not one of those fingerstyle things, most of this stuff is on fingerstyle, but I thought a pick style version would be fun. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you again soon for guitarlessons365.com.